Okay, I'm going to briefly answer a question that we got in the chat. It's in Spanish. Esta información, el taller de hoy solamente lo vamos a dar en inglés. A las 5 de la tarde lo vamos a volver a dar, pero en español. Así que si gustan acompañarnos en este, está bien. Y si no, a las 5 de la tarde tendremos uno en español. Gracias. Okay, I will go ahead and get started. I want to make sure that we get through this and be respectful of everybody's time. And I really want us to get to the Q&A session today because I think that that is one of the most important things that we want to do is help answer a lot of your questions. So today's webinar is about the California Relief Grant Program, a program that is funded by the state of California and of which the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation is a partner. So thank you so much for all of you that are joining us today. Just briefly, what we're going to do today is we're going to go over an overview of the grant program. We're going to pause midway so that we can answer any questions related to the grant program. And you please feel free to start putting your questions into the chat box. We will then have a live demo of the application. I will go through a sample application so that you can get a general idea of what it looks like. And we will wrap up with a Q&A session. Before we get started, I just want to briefly share information with you of who the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation is. I see a lot of familiar attendees here, but for those of you that are not familiar with us and who we are a nonprofit organization that serves the Central Valley here based in Fresno. We are currently providing virtual technical assistance to small businesses. And so what we do is we help entrepreneurs develop business skills and connect them to business resources through one-on-one technical assistance to help them either start or expand their business. We also conduct weekly webinars. So through virtual educational workshops, we educate and train entrepreneurs in areas such as business plan development, legal, marketing, and finances, among other areas. We also have our microloan program, which provides financing to small businesses, and we assist with the loan application process. So in addition, we help identify other financial resources to start or expand small businesses. We are located here in downtown Fresno. You can see our phone number there, our website for more information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms so that you can be up to date with all of the information and events that we have going on. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. The California Relief Grant Program is administered by the California Office of the Small Business Advocate, which is commonly known as well as Cal-OSBA. And they're doing this in partnership with Lendistry. There is $475 million to be distributed by Lendistry to eligible small businesses and nonprofits that have been impacted by COVID. Our presentation today is going to be focused only on small businesses. Now, there will be 2 rounds of funding. We are currently in the first round, which started December 30th, and the deadline is January 13th. So you still have some time to submit your application. Now, one of the things I want to mention is if for some reason your application does not get selected for the first round and you are able to submit it on time, it will automatically roll over to the second round. So please keep that in mind. Additionally, please know that this program is not on a first come, first serve basis. All of the applications that are submitted on time by the January 13th deadline will be considered and reviewed. Now, the grant recipients will be determined based on 4 key factors, and those key factors include on the businesses located in areas that have been impacted the most by the effects of COVID-19, businesses impacted the most financially based on gross revenue losses, impacted industries, including retail, food and hospitality, health and wellness, and personal care, such as beauty salons and barbershops. And the 4th factor is going to be determined based on underserved small business groups. And what that means is that if you belong either to being woman-owned, minority or person of color-owned, or veteran-owned business, where at least 51% of the business is owned and run on a daily basis by that individual, and if the business is located in a low to moderate income or rural community. And so today, the example that I will be doing with the application will be for a business in a rural community. Again, please feel free to go ahead and putting in your questions in the chat if you have any questions in regards to some of the slides I'm going through right now. Now, the eligibility for small businesses, again, this presentation is focusing on small businesses, is that the business must have a physical address and operate in California. You must be a small business and operating since at least June 1st of 2019. We have been getting some calls of businesses that started at the beginning of 2020, right before the official pandemic was announced here in the state. And unfortunately, if you started your business at the beginning of 2020, you are not eligible. You need to have been operating since at least June 1st of 2019, and you need to have at least $1,000 of annual gross revenue, but no more than 2.5 million. So again, you can apply for this grant if you have been in operation since at least June 1st of 2019, had at least $1,000 of annual gross revenue, but no more than 2.5 million. Independent contractors and 1099 workers are eligible to apply. So please keep that in mind. I know that's been a very popular question, especially when it comes to the beauty salons. If you are independent contractor, you can apply for this grant as well, as long as you meet the other eligibility criteria. Businesses must currently be operating or have a clear plan to reopen once the state of California permits reopening of the businesses. So that means that you can be closed right now. However, you must have a clear plan to reopen once you're allowed to. If you shut down your business, if you're no longer operating your business, you do not qualify for this. And the next one is you must be impacted by COVID-19. And that means that you either had a business interruption or you had to shut down. You had some closures that you had to shut down your business because of the local, state, or federal regulations. And the last one is that individuals with ITIN numbers, and that's individual tax identification numbers, are eligible to apply. So all of the grant information and the application guide can be found at the website, which is at careliefgrant.com. So please, for additional reference to the eligibility, feel free to visit the website. Okay, and this is a list of businesses that are not eligible to apply for this grant. Again, I just listed a few. For a complete list of ineligible businesses, please visit their website. And that includes businesses without a physical location in California, businesses primarily engaged in political or lobbying activities, churches or other religious institutions are not eligible to apply for this grant. We also have financial businesses primarily engaged in the business of lending, such as banks, finance companies, factoring companies, those are not eligible. And this last one is very important. We have businesses engaged in any activity that is illegal under federal, state, or local law, and multiple business entities, franchises, or multiple locations are not eligible for multiple grants. So what that means is if you own a business and you have multiple locations, you could only apply once. If you have 2 or 3 businesses, you could only apply for one business, and you need to apply for the one that has the highest revenue. Okay, so now we're going to go over how much can you receive. What are you eligible for? And it's going to depend on your annual gross revenue for the business. So for example, if your gross revenue, and keep in mind, we're using 2019, which should be the most recently filed tax returns. If your revenue is between $1,000 and $100,000, you are eligible for a $5,000 grant. If your revenue is between 100,000 and $1 million, you're eligible for a $15,000 grant. And of course, the last one, between $1 million and $2.5 million, you're eligible for $25,000. So this is why it's important that if you do have multiple businesses, that you select the business that has the highest revenue so that you can benefit of the highest amount grant. Now, let's say that you do get selected for the grant. What can you use it in? What are you eligible to use the funds for? And the simplest way is to keep in mind that these funds are for businesses or nonprofits that have been impacted by COVID. So all of the costs incurred due to the COVID-19 pandemic, such as employee expenses that include payroll, healthcare, sick leave, medical leave, family leave, insurance premiums, those are all eligible uses. Working capital, such as rent and utilities, other debt obligations, as long as they were incurred before March 1st of 2020, costs associated with reopening business operations, and costs associated with complying with the regulations. So all of the protective equipment that you purchased, if you had plexiglass barriers that you installed, if you had to set up an outdoor dining area, all of those are eligible uses of funds for this grant. Now, however, any other COVID-19 related expenses not already covered for that same period through grants, forgivable loans, or other relief through federal, state, or county or city programs. So basically, you can only use these funds for expenses that have not already been covered by other grants if you've received other grants. Now, the ineligible uses are for expenses that are not related to COVID-19. So for example, employee bonuses, taxes, legal settlements, personal expenses, those are ineligible uses of these grant funds. Now, for you to submit an application, there's going to be 4 key documents that are going to be required. And so we highly recommend that you have these ready before you start your application so that you can have them ready when you have to upload the documentation onto your application. The first document is an application certification. And what this is basically is a document where you're certifying your business and that the information you are provided is true and correct. This document will be emailed to you, and it will also be available for download after you submit your application so that you can fill it out and upload it on the second steps. And we'll talk about that once we go over the application steps. The second document is the business financial information. And so what that is the most recent tax return filed, and that can be either 2019 or 2018. And it must be provided in an electronic form for online upload. That means that you need to have it either in PDF or JPEG or any other approved upload format. And we'll share a little bit more information on that in a little bit. But please know that it will have to be uploaded in an electronic form. You will also need a copy of official filing with the California Secretary of State, if applicable, or local municipality for the business, such as one of the following. That can be articles of incorporation, certificate of organization, fictitious name statement, or a government issued business license. We have been getting a lot of questions if a seller's permit is allowed, if a daycare license is allowed, if a general contractor license is allowed. As long as a government agency gave you that license, you can use that as your third document requirement. And the fourth one is you will need to upload a photo ID, a government issued photo ID, and that can be either an ID, driver's license, or passport. Okay, so I'm going to take a brief break here to answer some of the questions on the chat, just to make sure that we cover some of these questions related to the grant program before we move into the demo for the actual application. Okay, so the first question is, how do we know if you have received my application? So the moment you submit an application, you should be getting an email that says that your application has been received. If you submitted your application and you have not received an email, please contact us and we will make sure that we can take a look at that for you. Okay, you have started the application process. So If you started the application process, but you have now finished, you should have received an email that gives you a username and password. I will share that in a few minutes as well when I go over the application process. That username and password you can use to log in, edit your application, and then submit it. If we do not have a business EIN, what number should we input instead? My mother is the sole employee for her business. If the business does not have an EIN, and it's a very common situation, you can use the social security number or ITIN number in that field where it's asking for the business EIN. I have also been told that you need to have made 1,000 in net profits to qualify. Is this still true? My understanding is that $1,000 in gross revenue. I will make sure to look into that, but I believe it is $1,000 in gross revenue, not net profits. Will you be going over document upload directions on the Zoom session? Yes, I will. The test link that I have will only let me get through submitting the application, but I do have some slides that will go over the document upload, so we can answer some questions after that. I completed my business info and submitted. I was sent a password and login. I used those items to download tax returns, California ID, articles of incorporation, etc. I am trying to link my bank, but don't know what the login or password is they are asking for. So Jerry, you should have received an email with the login and password. Check your spam mail or your junk mail. Sometimes it could have gone to those mailboxes. If for some reason you cannot locate an email that has your ID, username, and password, please give us a call, contact us, and we'll make sure to connect with you and we can find out for you. Under the owner details section, is it okay to put an ITIN's number for the owner social security box? Yes. What's going to happen is if you're submitting an application with an ITIN number, if you do get selected for the grant, you will be asked to show proof of your ITIN number, which is the letter that you get from the IRS. So yes, you are able to put the ITIN in place of that, in that box. For the login and password, they want your bank passcode so they can look at your bank account. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but I'll go ahead and say it now. For the time being, as you're submitting your applications, you do not need to submit your bank account information. And you will see it on the document upload section where it'll say that the banking information is only required if you are selected to receive the grant. So for now, it may even show still that you need to upload it. Please disregard that for the time being. Lendistry is not making it a requirement that you submit your banking information to be able to complete your application. Okay, may you show the slide again with the gross revenue? Yeah, I can go ahead and we're going to share this with all of you so we can make sure that you have the presentation and the slides. If you do not have a business license or articles of incorporation or government license, are you disqualified? What we're telling people is, you know, this grant program is not intended for you not to be able to get it and not make it easy for you. We're trying to help you. So let's connect with you. Let's find out if there's anything else that you have. If you have your tax returns for 2019, you're basically already have the proof that you have been operating your business in 2019. We just need that secondary verification. So let's go connect. Please contact us so that we can ask you a couple of questions. Again, that's why, you know, for example, some people may have their daycare license, but they didn't have a city license. Maybe they have just, you know, independent consultant. They've been doing consulting for a while, but they never had a business license, or maybe they have a fictitious name statement that they don't have the other. So let's go ahead and please reach out to us. We'll connect with you and see if there's anything else that we can have you upload. If I already have, if I have already applied through Lendistry, how long is the waiting period? So the deadline is January the 13th, and they do expect to start disbursing funds within a few weeks after that. I'm hoping that that's the question you're asking. Unless you're asking what the waiting period is to get your login, that should be right after you submit your application. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions and then we'll go ahead and go with the live demo. I'm trying to upload, but it gives me an error message and I can't upload anything. So if you are able to log in, your username and your password is working, but you're not uploading, it's not accepting the documents you're uploading, we may have to take a look at that. We do have some tips here in the presentation of how you need to be uploading the documents. They have to be scanned correctly, and if the system, when you're uploading, does its own scanning, and if it thinks that you're not uploading the correct thing, it may not allow you to do that. And it also asks you for a password. So please contact us so that we can address your individual case. For the how can we help you section, when it asks for full-time employees, if the owner is the only employee, do we input 0 full-time employees or 1 full-time employee? This has been a question that's been very common. We have seen people that put 0 because they don't have any employees, which it is basically asking if you have full-time employees. So if you don't have employees, you can put 0. However, if you already submitted your application and you put 1 because you're counting yourself, you are fine. Nothing's going to happen. But the question about how many full-time employees is asking basically as of the end of December 2020, how many full-time employees did you have? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop here and then I'm gonna get back to the presentation. So I'm gonna make a note that I stopped questions at 1:20. That way we can go through the application and then I can help answer additional questions after that, okay? For the meantime, please feel free to continue adding your questions in the chat. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the application steps. There are primarily 2 steps to this application. Very simple, very straightforward. The first one is you must complete an online grant application via the Lendistry portal. The second part is that you have to upload the requested documentation. Once you upload your documents and you have the green verification that they're all completed, that means you are done and you no longer have to do anything for the time being. After the grant application is closed on January the 13th, Lendistry will collect additional information from those that are selected so that they can disperse the grant funds to you. And so with that, I'm going to move over into application tips. And the application tips is going to lead us into the live demo of the grant application. Now, the first one is make sure you're using Google Chrome. That is the browser that this portal and this application was intended to be used for. So if you have issues and it doesn't look right, the formatting is off, it's probably because you're not using the correct internet browser. So make sure you use Google Chrome. The next step is to make sure you use a valid email address. If you use an email that starts with info@ or it ends with @contact.net or @reply.com, those will not be accepted. So please make sure that you use a valid email address so that you can be able to submit your application. And the third tip is to make sure you scan your documents properly. Okay, I know there are some applications on your phone that you can use. There's other applications if you don't have access to a scanner that you can use. Avoid taking a picture if you can. However, I will share with you guys here some information about scanning documents. On the left-hand side here, you'll see this is the acceptable electronic submission when you're uploading documents. And to the right, you will see formats that will not be accepted. So if you take a picture and you can see your foot, you can see the table, you can see your hand, that will not be accepted. So make sure that you are scanning your documents in an acceptable format. Now, I do want to make you all aware, Here at the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation, we are having curbside scanning. We're helping individuals that do not have access to a scanner, or if you do not know how to scan your documents, please contact us. We're here at 1444 Fulton Street. We are doing it by appointment. When you get here, we tell you where to park. We call you over the phone. If you need help with your application, we will help you fill it out. And then we will go out to your vehicle so that we can collect your documents, scan them in our building, and then we can help you upload them. We also provide same-day appointments, so please feel free to contact us so we can help you out with that if you need that assistance. If you know how to do it yourself and all you need is a scanner, you're more than welcome to come. We can scan it to your email, and then you can do the uploading yourself whenever you're ready to complete your application. Okay, so we will go ahead and go into the application demo. So here is the grant application for the home page. In the chat, and before we go, in the slides, I also have the direct link that you can use so that you can submit an application. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to make sure I share my screen. Okay, so this is the main page. When you go to careliefgrant.com, you will see this main page, and you can find additional resources here. You can find a partner, so this is how you can find us. You can get more information about the program. There's also a frequently asked questions, and then there's also an application guide that you can download if you need additional information. However, please know that you can call us anytime, and we would be more than happy to assist you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation. So I'm going to look by county. I'm going to click under Fresno since we're in Fresno County, and then I'm going to scroll down to where you see the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation, and you select Apply Now. Okay. What's going to happen is it's going to take you to this webpage, and it's going to say that this program is in partnership with the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation. And then it's going to give you two options. Click here to apply or click here to log in. But notice that this section says existing customers only. So if you're just brand new, you're about to start your application, this is the section you want to go. You want to click here to apply. So when you click here to apply, then it's going to take you to another section, and it's going to ask you, this is the grant program for for-profits, and this is the application for nonprofit organization. So for a small business that's a for-profit, make sure that you click on the Apply Now button that's under for-profits. So when we click here, it's going to take us directly into the application. So I'm going to switch over to my test link. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out an application under my business, which I'm going to be using a beauty salon as an example. So you want to make sure that you fill out all of the information correctly, the first name and last name of the owner. Want to make sure that you put an email address that is valid, and make sure that they both match. If they don't match, it will let you know. Now it's important here to make sure that you put a cell phone number, because it will ask you if it's okay for you to get text messages to keep you updated about your application. So make sure that the cell phone number you put on there is the one that you want to get text messages to. And I'm going to call my business Yeti's Beauty Salon. And my business happens to be in the city of Kerman. Make sure you check off the box here so that you can get the text messages to your cell phone and any other communications related to your application. You're going to click on continue, and then you're going to get a message up at the top that the data has been saved and to continue filling out the application. Now, at this point, what's happening is an email is being generated. And at this point is when you will get an email saying that you have been provided an email, a username and password. Now we're going to go into the owner details. You will see that some of the information has already been pre-filled based on the information you provided above. So just make sure everything's matching and then go ahead and continue with the address. So please note that for the addresses, they will not accept PO boxes. So please make sure that you have a physical address. If you run your business from home, go ahead and put your business address as your home address as well. So in this case, this is owner information. So this would be my personal residence address. This is the owner address, okay? So in this case, I'm going to say that this is my home address. Owner address number 2, it's not required if you don't have a secondary address. I live in the city of Fresno, in the state of California. Now my zip code for my residence is in Fresno, not in Kerman. And the county is Fresno County. And owner date of birth. So it'll give you the option to put in the date with the calendar here, or you can simply click on the line so that it lets you type it in, and make sure that you type it in the format that it's asking you for. 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year. Okay. You then put in the owner's social security number. If you have an ITIN number, you can put your ITIN number here. And the percent of ownership is, if you and your husband own a business and you want it, that's 50-50, then you will put 50. Or if you own the entire business 100%, then you put 100%, whatever is appropriate for your business. Now here you have to accept the terms and conditions. So you can click here to read more about it. And basically what it's telling you is that for the purpose of this pre-approval, Lendistry will only pull a soft credit pool, which will not affect your credit score. And you can click here for more information, but please be aware that that's the reason why you have to accept to the terms and conditions. And you click save and agree, and then it will give you another confirmation that your details have been saved. You scroll down, go to the next section. In this case, we are looking at the business information. So now I live in Fresno, but my business is in Kerman. So now I'm going to fill out the information. The DBA is doing business as. If you do not have a DBA, you can simply type none. In this case, I'm going to put my DBA as Yeti's Beauty Salon. Next is the business EIN. And this one, you don't need to put any dashes or anything like that. If you do not have a business EIN, you can use your Social Security or ITIN number. And then you put your business phone number. You put your business type. So in my case, my business does not have any employees and I am a sole proprietor. So I will select sole proprietor without employees. So please select the designated option for your business. State of incorporation, since I am a sole proprietor, I just put down that I am in California. If you were to select the corporation option, you will need to select the state that you were incorporated in. Now is the business address. So again, no PO boxes here. So make sure that you put in the physical address of your business. And my business is located in Kerman. It's in California. It's still Fresno County. And my zip code is 93630. Now here you have to put the date your business was established. In this case, same thing, you click on the line so that you can enter it manually and make sure you enter it in the format that it's described on there. So I'm going to say that I started my business January 1st of 2012. The next is website for your business. If you do not have a business, it's okay. All you have to do is type none.com. Moving on to the next section. The next section is how can we help you? And the first question is, what is the purpose of this grant? Please know that you're going to be given multiple options. Select the one that if you get this grant, what would be the primary area that you would use these funds for? In my case, I will say that for my beauty salon, I will use it for rent or mortgage interest. The next one is amount requested. It gives you a little link here that as soon as you hover over where it says check eligibility, it will give you these options so that you know what the amount requested is. So if your annual revenue was between 1,000 and 100,000, you're eligible for 5,000. If your revenue is between 100,000 and a million, it's 15,000, and then a million to 2.5 million, 25,000. If you select 25,000 and the amount requested, and your annual revenue is less than 100,000, they will automatically put you into the $5,000 category. So try to put in the correct amount there. So in my case, I'm going to put $5,000. Now the next question is, will this grant create new jobs? In my case, if I receive this grant at my beauty salon, I do not plan to hire new employees. However, if you do plan to hire employees with your grant, you can select yes. Next is the annual revenue. So this should be the annual revenue for the most recently filed tax returns, which in this case would be 2019. So in 2019, the annual revenue that I had for my business was $50,000. Next is asking how many full-time employees. So in my beauty salon, I have 1 full-time employee and I have 2 part-time employees. Now these figures are as of December 31st of 2020. So in 2020, I have 1 full-time employee, 2 part-time employees. Number of jobs created, I have not created any new jobs. However, I still have 1 here and 2 here. That's a total of 3 jobs that I have retained through the pandemic. The next section is business demographics. Who is your customer base? If you hover over here, it'll tell you that B2B means business to business to consumer, or both. In this case, the beauty salon that I own is a business to consumer business. So I'm going to select B2C. Now here is where it can get a little tricky, okay? The first question is, what does your business do? Depending on what you answer here is what's going to give you an options here. And depending on what you answer here is what's going to give an options here. So all of these 3 questions are connected. Please feel free to select through a couple so you can see what options it gives you. So let's say that you select construction business. The type of business it's going to give you, it's general contractor or special trade contractor. If you don't select construction business, let's say you do service business, general contractor is no longer giving it to you here. So if for some reason you cannot find your type of business here, you can always select unknown. That's not a problem, but try to find your industry. In my case, the example that I'm using for the beauty salon is a service business. The type of business is personal services. And on the third one, where it says tell us more, is beauty and barber or nail business. So I'm going to click on that. So again, know that all of these 3 questions are connected, okay? Now the next one is the NAICS code. You don't need to know this. You can look it up yourself. There's right here to the right a link that says click here to find your NAICS code, also known as the NAICS code. When you click there, it's going to take you to a website. And when you get to the website, you can click on this little icon here that says search NAICS codes. And then it's going to give you 2 search bars. On the top one, you can just enter beauty salon. In my case, in your case, you type in the type of business that you have, and then you identify which one is the most appropriate that fits your type of business. So in my case, the example that I'm using is a beauty salon. So my NICS code is this one here. Please know that it does not have to be exact. There are some businesses that can get a little bit complicated when it gets to the title and the common keywords that it gives to you. Just select the one that is most related to your type of business. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this code here, bring it back to my application, and then I'm just going to type it in here, copy and paste. Okay. Now, next is additional demographic questions. So the first one is women-owned business. In my case is yes. If you have one then more business owner, for you to be able to select yes on women-owned business, 51% or more of the business has to be owned by a woman. The next one is veteran. In my case, I am not a veteran. I am also not disabled. My race, in this case, for me personally, would be under the white category, and under ethnicity, Hispanic or Latino would be the most appropriate for me. The next one is asking, is your business a franchise? In my case, it is not, so I'm selecting no. And then it's asking if I am in a rural community. And for me, in this case, my business is in Kerman, and the answer is yes. And a rural community is where the population is under 50,000, and I believe under 20,000 as well. But you can find this information as to whether you are considered rural or not in the careliefgrant.com website. And the final section here are disclosures. So there's 6 final questions. And again, these are all questions that are related to those factors that will be used to determine your eligibility for the grant. Now, the first question is your business 51% minority or veteran owned? And so what that means is a minority or person of color that's a small business means that they're the following racial or ethnic group. So in my case, my racial ethnic group is listed down here, so I would answer yes. What was the gross revenue for your business April 1st, 2019 through September 30th of 2019? Now, if you remember, one of those 4 factors that they're going to be looking at is what has been your net revenue losses? What impact has COVID-19 had on your business compared to a prior year? So that's what this question is for. So what it's asking you is for April 1st of 2019 through September 30th of 2019, what was your annual revenue? So in my case, for my business of the beauty salon, for April 1st of 2019, I'm sorry, September 30th of 2019, which is 6 months of that year, my revenue was $25,000. If you remember correctly, up on top, when I said that my revenue was $50,000 for the entire year of 2019, for April through September was 25,000. So make sure that those numbers are corresponding. The third question is, what was the gross revenue for your business for April 1st of 2020? So now it's asking you, what was your revenue after the pandemic? What impact did your business have due to COVID-19? So in this case, for my beauty salon, I was only able to generate $5,000. Let me change that. I'm not sure what happened there. Okay. So the next question is your business currently in need of business advising or technical assistance services? This basically means, do you want us to contact you and assist you with anything else for your business? In this case, I'm going to select yes. I would like to have a little bit more advising when it comes to marketing. However, if you choose not to, you can select no. The next one is your business currently in need of a business loan? For the time being, I am not in need of a business loan, so I'm going to select no. However, if you are in need of a business loan, please select yes. And the last and final question here is, during the last 9 months, has your business received any COVID-19 related emergency grants? And for this purpose of this grant, I'm going to select yes. And I'm going to say that I received a grant from the County of Fresno. So I'm going to select yes, and then it's going to ask additional questions. If yes, what was the name of the program from which you received funding? When you select the drop down, it's going to give you multiple options. It's going to give you the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. It's going to give you local or municipal grant or loan program. It's going to give you SBA PPP program or other. If you received an EIDL and a local grant, or if you received SBA and a local grant, if you received more than one, go ahead and just select one of them. That's okay. In my case, I received a grant from the County of Fresno, so I'm going to select local municipal grant or loan program. And the next question is, if yes, what was the total amount of relief funds that you have received to date? So notice here it says total amount of relief funds you have received to date. In my case, I have only received one grant of $5,000. So I'm going to select that. However, if you received PPP and a local grant, and let's say that between those two totals $20,000, then you want to select you want to type in $20,000 in here. This is the total funds that you have received. Okay, so now that concludes the application, and you're going to click on submit. When you click on submit, it's very important that you take a look at this. It says, once you have submitted your application, you will no longer be able to edit your responses. You are agreeing that the information provided is accurate. Tap yes to continue. If for some reason you're not sure of some of the information you put on there, you're not really sure, you didn't have your tax returns with you, you're not sure how much your annual revenue was, click on save and continue later. Do not type in yes, because what that's going to happen is once you get your login username and password, you will be able to log in, edit your application, and then submit it. Okay, so if you're not ready to submit it, click on save and continue later. Now let's see what happens. If you are ready and you type in yes, then this option is no longer available, which means that all of the information you have on there is correct and accurate, and you're ready to submit. So in my case, I have everything ready to go, and I'm going to select continue. Okay, so now you're going to get a message that says your application has been submitted successfully. Check in your email. If you read here, it says, please check your email, including your clutter, junk, or spam for your username and password, and to activate your account and to upload documentation. Now, down here, you see, please use this link to add additional information or upload requested documentation. If I click on here, it's going to take me back now to log in. I've already applied, so I don't need to click here to apply. Now I type in my username and my password so that I can log in and upload my documentation. Now I will leave the site so that I can go back to the presentation and show you information about the uploading documents. Okay, so again, just as a reminder, immediately after submitting, you will receive a link so that you can upload your documents. If you have those ready, you can start uploading them. Then you will receive an email with the username and password. And the first thing to do is to download the application certification so that you can fill it out. You can, you have to put your initials. You have to type in that you agree that the information you provided is true and correct, and then you can start uploading to your portal. Now, again, I cannot show you on the actual site how it looks like, since the test only allows us to do the application. So I'm going to show you here what you're going to look at when you upload your documents. So the very first top section here is telling you that your business is a corporation. So it's going to ask you if you want to change your business, and you have to select from the drop-down menu what type of business you are. So if you selected a sole proprietor with no employees, that's what should be on here. If you select a corporation, that's what should be on here. The first step is for you to identify which one you want to upload first. So you see this box shaded in gray, that means that that's the one I'm going to be uploading next. So you click on the item that you're going to be uploading next, and then you select browse so that you can look through your computer files and select the document you want to be uploaded. It will ask you to put a password so that your document can be uploaded. And the password that you use will be the password that you get in the email with your username and password. Once you upload a document, you will see here on the right side column what's been completed and what's pending. Once you upload all of your documents, they should all say completed. So application certification, completed. Government issued ID, completed. Most recently filed tax return, completed. One of the following, completed. Now the last part here that shows pending on my screen is the bank info. Again, the banking information is not required at this time for you to submit an application. That will be required of you if you get selected to receive a grant. So please disregard that. You do not need the banking information for this time being. Down here at the bottom of the screen, it will show you, and you can preview every document that you have uploaded to make sure that it's the correct documents that you have uploaded. Once you're done uploading, it will give you an option to save and close. So once you see the green completed words here next to each document, you can click on save and close, and then you're done. Okay, now let me show you an example of what it looks like if you have an incomplete application. So let's say that you forgot some of the information, you were not sure, you're not ready to submit. What you want to do is you want to use your username and password that was emailed to you, log in, and the moment you log in, if you did not submit your application, it's going to say that it's incomplete, and it's going to give you the option to edit your application. You click there, you edit your application, and then it will allow you to finish it up and submit it, okay? Now, let's say that you did complete your application, but you did not submit your documents yet, then it's going to look like this on the right side. When you log in with the username and password that has been emailed to you, it would say that your grant amount application was for $5,000, that your application is being reviewed, and it will give you the option to upload documents and bank information. The bank information is still being left on there, but again, as I mentioned, please disregard the banking information. You do not need that for the time being. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this link onto the chat box so that you can see this is the direct link for you to apply to this grant program through our partnership with Lendistry and Cal OSBA. So I'll make sure to type this in the chat box so that you can have it, okay? I also want to remind you all that we are here to help you. All of our team here at the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation, we're on the phone helping you submit the applications, guiding you through some of these questions. And of course, we're here giving you the appointments to do the curbside scanning. So please call us if you have any questions. If you are stuck, you're not sure what to do, if you need to scan your documents, please give us a call. So I will now go ahead and get back to the chat so that we can resume with some of these questions here. Let's see. So I think I left off at 120. Okay, so the question where I left off, can you use tax records from 2018 as well? Yes, that is correct. You can use 2018. After logging in with the new password, the website still says pending document upload. When I click on upload documents, everything is green and completed. I use the preview button to confirm it all looks good. Should the main page still say pending document upload? Thank you for your time. Yes, for the time being, it will still show that you have documents pending to upload. That's something that they are working on. But as long as you have the green completed words next to each document, you should be fine, except for the banking info. Can you please review how funds can be used again? Yes, so what we will be doing is we will be sharing with you the presentation along with the slides that will have that information on there so that we can, so that you can go back and review that. Hello, I sent an email to Lendistry and called regarding this matter as well. In the third section where it says business type, it is only giving me the option to choose nonprofit. I operate as a sole proprietor business. I may not be able to stay on this webinar the entire time, but please let me know how I can get this corrected. I am using Google Chrome and left the email. Okay, we will make sure to get in touch with you in case you're not on here anymore, Desiree. If that's the case, if anybody else is having this issue, most likely you selected the nonprofit application instead of the for-profit application. So make sure, it's really important that if you're applying for a small business grant, that you select on the Apply Now button that's for for-profit businesses. The nonprofit section just has very slight different questions. So that could have been what happened. Are the recipients random or everyone that qualifies receives a grant? So what's going to happen is those 4 major factors that I talked about at the beginning is what's going to help identify, you know, basically the priority. If the request of the funds is higher than the grant fund, so let's say right now the governor has allocated 500 million. If the demand for these grants surpasses 500 million, then they will go into those factors that I shared at the beginning of the presentation so they can use a scorecard and prioritize the applications. Let's say that there was only 10,000 applications and all of those 10,000 applications are eligible, and those 10,000 applications are only $250 million, then they will all receive a grant. So it just depends on the eligibility and the demand of the funds. My understanding is the banking information would be routing and account number. So if you get the grant, they can transfer it to your account electronically. It is not your login to your bank account. That is not something that is ever done in my experience. So again, the banking information for the time being is not required. They had to leave it on there for other purposes of the application and the portal. However, please do not worry about the banking information for the time being. Only if you get selected, you will be contacted and you will be requested your bank account information. How do we know we have submitted and uploaded all the information? I did mine, but it doesn't affirm that. So if you log in and it's asking you to upload documents, that means that your application has been submitted and received. Now, once you upload your documents and you have a completed green word next to each of the documents that you uploaded, that means that you have completed your application. If for some reason you think that you did not do anything correct, or maybe you might be missing a document or you have issues, please contact us and we can take a look into that. If you make a tad over the max annual revenue, is the entity still eligible? The answer is no. You have to be under the 2.5 million. Thank you, Jose. Denise, I have submitted everything, but it still says pending, not completed. That is possible. If it still says that it's pending, not completed, and you've already uploaded your documents, it's a system error and they're working on fixing that. So don't worry about it as long as you have completed next to each one of your documents. Will there be a relay if this webinar? I'm not sure that I understand the question. Any of you want to type it into the chat again? Must we select a partner based on our county? No, please select, for our purposes, please select the Fresno Area Hispanic Foundation so that you can apply through our link, please. And I will go ahead and make sure I type it into the chat here as soon as I get through a couple more questions. Under the business demographic section, would a child daycare be under health services or professional? When you select health services, depending on the additional options it gives you, feel free to select the one that's closest to you. We understand that not every single business is listed on there. So please select the one that's the most appropriate. If you cannot identify any of the sections to be a fit for your business, then you can always go back and select unknown. When they look at your documentation, they will know that you are a daycare business. Form asks for EIN, but the drop-down only allows you to select a business type and not allowing the EIN. David, if you can clarify your question, please. The form does ask for the employer identification number. And if you do not have one, you can use your Social Security number. So, if you can just maybe retype your question so that I can understand it correctly. Are businesses able to apply if they have received a previous small business grant? The answer is yes. Down at the bottom, after you are almost done with the application, it will ask you if you've received a grant before. All you have to do is select yes, answer the corresponding questions after that, and put the total amount of what that grant was for. Annual revenue is on what line of the tax return? So if you have a regular tax return form 1040 Schedule C, I believe, I'm just going off the top of my head, I believe that would be line 4 or 5, and I'll have to get back on you on that because I don't have one in front of me, but it's the one that says annual gross revenue. That's the number that you want to include on the application. Your business is able to apply for this grant even if you received other grants? Yes, that is correct. Even if you received other grants, whether it's the PPP, whether it's the EIDL loan, whether it was a grant from the city or the county, you are still eligible to apply for this grant and receive funding for this grant as well. The business type only shows nonprofit as the option. I don't have a list containing sole LLC, please advise. Again, it might have been that you selected the nonprofit application instead of the for-profit application. If you think that's the case, please give us a call and then we will help you fix that. As others have commented, I too have uploaded my documents, but they are not yet recognized and show pending on the Lendistry site. How do we confirm our documents have been received? If they don't have completed and they show us pending, there could be an issue with what your documents look like or how you scan them. Please contact us so that we can go over that with you. As long as it doesn't say completed, it means they don't have them. So if they show pending, that means that potentially you forgot to put in the password when you uploaded the document, or the document may not be in a correct format. So Tim, if you need help with that, please contact us and we can help you out. Can I go back and do a correction on the application? If you have submitted the application, the answer is no. However, if you clicked on save and continue later, the answer is yes. So it really depends on which one is your situation. If the information that you didn't put correct is minor, you may not have to worry about it, but if it's a major, give us a call and then we can walk you through and submit a request so that we can get that fixed for you. 4 documents have to be uploaded, and it has to say confirmed in order for you to know that you have completed the application. Yes, that is correct. And our phone number is there in case anybody needs additional assistance. Please contact us so we can help you out. Since my 2019, I have had a change of last name due to marriage. Will I have to upload additional documents to verify why tax return name does not match ID verification? Yes, and what you can do is we can help you with that. All you have to do is basically upload the verification as to why the name does not match. If you have issues with that, please give us a call and we can walk you through it. If for some reason, you don't do it, and you do get selected, you will be contacted so that you can provide that information. I tried to submit without the bank information. The application would not allow me to save and submit without the bank information. Hence, I included the bank information. That is okay. It's okay if you did that. I just want to clarify that this is the portal to upload documentation, which means if you're able to upload documentation, you have already submitted the application. So once you upload your documents and it says completed next to the 4 required documents, all you have to do is save and close. But if you were able to get your bank account information on that is perfectly fine. Very clear and thorough review of the application process. Thank you. Thank you, RCS. Does everyone qualify that applies, or is it random? So again, as I mentioned, it's going to depend on various factors. It's going to depend on the demand of the funds, how much funding is available, and the eligibility. Thank you, Ali. I also tried to submit without the bank info. The application would not allow me to save and submit. Again, I just want to clarify that this is not the actual application. This is the portal where you log in with the username and password. Once you upload your documents and you have completed next to each 4 of those documents, make sure that you hit save and close and you should be fine. Thank you, Tracy. How many times I have to receive confirmation they received my application? So you would be getting only 1 email with the confirmation that they received your application and is being reviewed. If you received multiple emails, most likely means that you probably were trying to do the application a couple of times. So use the most recent one, and that's the one that will allow you to make edits and submit your application. Will this video be uploaded to view later? Yes, it will. We will make sure that we email this to you and that we post it so it's available to everyone. If there was an error in the original application, can I contact anyone to adjust the answer, or is my application just completely sealed as is? Correct. You can now go back and make any changes to the application. Again, if it's a major mistake that you made and needs to be updated, please give us a call so that we can request that. We will have to submit a request to do that. What if we have several businesses, but only one is over the 2.5 million? Can I apply with the smaller entities? Yes, you can, as long as it does not go over 2.5 million. Is the password required when you upload documents? I left it blank. Will that be an issue? It will be required. I think it will not allow you to save and close if you did not put your password in there. But if it's telling you otherwise, Porfirio, please let us know. But the password is required so that it can complete the process. And the password will be the password that's provided to you in the email. I am mostly a W-2 employee, but I have some 1099 income from 2018 that is over 1,000. Should I apply? Yeah, if you meet all of the other criteria, you are eligible to apply. Do you have to put passwords to the uploaded documents, or can you leave it password blank? Again, yes, you do have to put in the password. We are a wholesale business. We sell to restaurant and to meat market. What category will we be for nonprofit? Again, potentially you might have selected the wrong application. You need to submit an application under the for-profit application. I think you might have selected the nonprofit. So please contact us so that we can help you so that you can submit a correct application. When will we know if we have been selected for the grant? So the application period closes for the first round, January the 13th. They expect to start notifying individuals within a few weeks and start dispersing right around February. If your application does not get selected for the first round, you will automatically, if eligible, will automatically be rolled over into the second round. I am mostly a W-2 employee, but I have some until the last year, but okay, I think we answered that question. So I should not use my password. The password they give you once you log in, it asks you for you to change it. So the most recent password that you have created, because yes, once you use the password, you do, let me clarify that. You're gonna get a username and password. When you log in for the first time, it will prompt you to change it so that you can create your own password. So moving forward, the most recent password is the one that you will be using. So, and I believe that answers Jennifer's question. So it would be the most recent password you have. I own an entity with multiple owners. Does applying for this entity prevent other owners from applying for their own separate entity? Okay, so the way to look at it is you are only, as an individual, you can only apply for one business grant. Or let's say that you sit on the board for a nonprofit, you're an executive director, you're an executive board member, you can only apply for one nonprofit. So yes, that is correct. You can only apply if you own multiple businesses, you're the owner of multiple businesses, only one application can be submitted. Juan, so I believe I answered your question about the wholesale business, sell to restaurant and meat market. What category will you be for nonprofit? You should not have that question on your application, so you most likely selected the wrong application. Please contact us so that we can help you fill out the correct application. Your application should be for profit. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put in the link to our application here. Okay, I went ahead and put in our link so that you can go directly to the application and you can fill it out. If you have any questions, please let us know. Let's see here, continue with the questions. I put 0 under jobs retained instead of 1. Is that a major issue we should fix? No, you're fine. That's okay. If a business cannot see the link to upload their documents after getting a new password, what should they do? Please contact us and we can help you through the process. I know some of the emails were delayed depending when you submitted your application. But then we also know that sometimes the emails get lost. So if you have not received an email so that you can upload your documents, please contact us so that we can help you out. Actually, let me go back to Dawn's question here because I believe if you cannot see the link to upload documents, and I'm going to go to the website, to the presentation. As soon as you complete your application, it should give you a link for you to start uploading documents. If that's not the case, then you need to wait for an email so that you can log in and upload the documentation. If it's showing you when you log in, it's showing you incomplete, just like it is here on the left side, that means that you have not submitted your application. So it usually should be either or. Either you're going to get the option to edit application or option to upload your documents. So if you do not have the option to upload your documents, most likely your application has not been completed. And so if that happens to be an issue, please contact us so that we can help you out with that. Can I clear up my question regarding multiple owners? I wanted to know if the other owners are then prevented from applying for their own separate entities. Edgar, I believe that is correct. I am going to make a note of it just to confirm. My understanding is that even though I am maybe 20 or 30% owner of that business, and I'm 100% owner of my own business, I can only have one application, no matter which business it is. So in that case, my partner is not able to apply if I'm already applying for my other business because I have mutual benefit. I will make sure to clear that up, but and get back to you. But I believe only one individual, because what's going to happen is once the if both applications are selected and both are reviewed, it's going to show that there is one business owner in common. Additional documentation and explanation upload is allowed. We have to 1099K. Another business has half revenue on credit card machines gets reported to us, but is the other business entity. You do have the option to upload any additional explanations. However, there is a specific way you need to do that. Most likely you need to attach it. So let's say that you want to attach it under your tax returns, just make sure that it's all included on there. If for any reason they have questions about your particular case, please know that they will reach out to you when they're doing the verification. How can I know they received my application? So you should be receiving an email confirmation that your application was received. If you have not received an email, depending on when you submitted your application, please give us a call and we can look into it for you. Again, here is our contact information. Please feel free to contact us anytime to help answer your questions. The deadline to apply is January 13th. So please make sure you get your applications in before then. Here, I'll go ahead and go into one more question here. For one single entity with many locations with revenue over the threshold, can we apply one location? Not if it's all under one business. So if it's an entity of its own and it's under the $2.5 million gap, you can apply. But if it's one business with 3 locations, it would still be considered over the threshold. So if it's its own entity, yes. If it's one business, no. Okay, so we did go a little over. I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar here so that we can be respectful of everyone's time. Please know you can reach us at any time. Give us a call or send us an email so that we can help answer your questions. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will have another webinar on Monday in case you have additional questions. And so please expect to get another email from us and stay in touch. Thank you so much.